How's it going, everyone? It's Derek Lamoureux, and today we're going to talk about this pallet wall that I built behind me here. Andrew nor I have a ton of building experience. We are by no means experts, so there's probably plenty of ways to build a wall like this, but this is how we decided that we were going to build our wall. I saw a photo on Instagram, and then I looked up a couple videos on YouTube of these pallet walls. It's definitely a trendy thing that you see in homes, but I hadn't seen too many in an office before. So I called my buddy Andrew, and we started putting the plans together for this wall.
Plan? What plan?
Now this wall is approximately 14 feet wide by about 8.5 to 9 feet tall. So we knew we needed to get enough wood to cover that square footage. Where do you get pallets from? Well, I went on Facebook Marketplace and I just looked up a bunch of places that were getting rid of pallets for free. Surprisingly, there's a lot of businesses that are just putting them out on the road and they have skids and skids of them. And so that's what I did, is I went with my truck, I picked up a bunch of skids, brought them back, and then we started cutting all these skids down. Each of these skids took a long time to cut down because we used a reciprocating saw and cut off each of the boards individually. The nails in the boards did not make it any easier, and also having only one saw made it a bit tricky, so in hindsight, Andrew and I probably both should have had a saw and it would have sped up the process a lot. Nevertheless, after a couple hours of cutting these things down, we finally had a ton of wood to start working with. I wanted the boards to have that rough, rustic look, but we still didn't want them to be as rough of condition as they were in. We sanded the boards with like an 80 grit sandpaper. We used an electric sander so it went by pretty quickly. Andrew and I just kind of double teamed that as we were cutting the boards. Now, when it comes to staining, there's lots of different options, lots of different colors. I just went to the local hardware store. I kind of looked at the samples that they had there and then selected 3 colors that were kind of on the light, middle, and dark side of the spectrum. As you can see on this wall behind me, there's multiple different colors, but it actually only came from 3 stains. So when we were applying the stains, we first tried a paintbrush, and then we tried like some paper towel, and then we ended up just using these white shop rags, which went on pretty fast, and we could kind of determine by each board how thick we wanted to put the coat on. So some boards we went on pretty thin, some boards we put the coat on pretty thick, and that's how we got the different colors, so that when we were building this wall, it wouldn't be like 3 different colors. It ended up being like almost every 10 to 20 boards had a different look, and that's what ultimately I wanted, was something that just looked completely, unique and different. I think the 3 shades that we used were Ebony, Express, and Walnut. Those were just the 3 that I thought, kind of matched the best together to give us some different lights and some medium and dark tones. Pro tip here, wear gloves. The first couple of stains, we didn't have any gloves on, and our fingers were black and brown, and that stain doesn't come off easily, so I recommend getting a pair of gloves and putting that on. Otherwise, you will be battling with stain on your fingers for a few days. Before I started putting the boards up on the wall, I wanted to lay them out on the ground below the wall first and get a sense for what the pattern was going to look like. So I laid out 5 rows at a time, and I would just line the boards up based on colors so that there wasn't really any big overlap. We kind of separated the lengths and the thicknesses and the colors of each board, spread it all out, and then I would take those 5 rows and I would start putting them up on the actual wall. Now, the first 2 rows of the wall, we PL Premium glued the boards and put the nail gun in, and then like a couple minutes in, I was like, this is going way too slow. So we ditched the glue and we just put brad nails. I think they were like 1.5 inches. We put 2 nails in every board, and honestly, like, they stayed up pretty good. So we ditched the glue and the process started moving a lot quicker. So after we got like to the end of the row, we would just measure that little section of a board that was left. Andrew would go out and cut it, and I'd keep putting up the other boards. He'd keep measuring, we'd go out, cut, and then we would lay 5 more rows, lay them all out. We ended up bringing all of our stained wood inside, because despite having so many boards, it was getting a little bit hard to juggle this crazy mixture of a pattern that we'd created. So we essentially laid out all of the boards on the ground and then just picked and choose which ones we were going to use for that row. It took a couple hours, but we finished the first half of the wall. And then when we started the second half of the wall, I actually bought a battery-powered nail gun, which I don't think it made it went faster. It just was easier. We didn't have to have the loud compressor in the office. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how the wall turned out. I don't know if there's anything I would maybe do different next time, being as it our first wall, and I hope I don't ever have to create another one of these. It was a fun experience. I think that if you were going to create a wall like this, I've since seen people sell these pallet boards already cut. That might save you a little bit of time, because honestly that part took forever between Andrew and I, so that would probably be a recommendation. Other recommendation would just be like having two people really made this process go faster. Andrew and I were doing it at the end of our work days, so it took us like 4 half days to get all of this done. We did all the cutting and sanding and staining, kind of just spread that out and let it dry. And then we did the actual hanging parts on a different day. So I think realistically, you could probably get this project done in a 2-day window if you're going start to finish and you had maybe an extra person to help you. Thanks for watching this video, and hopefully you learned something about building a pallet wall. Maybe you'll go build your own pallet wall. Let me know in the comments below, and just tap that subscribe button for more videos.